Good evening. Welcome to the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand and recite the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome tonight. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Listing under the consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda prior to the council's vote. The mayor will ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion. Are there any items? First item is approval of the special work session and regular meeting minutes of November 9th, 2021. Approval of expenditure vouchers of November 23rd, 2021. Approval of a renewal brew and public brew pub liquor license for Four Corners Brewing, LLC, DBA, Main Street Brewery and Restaurant, located at 21 East Main Street, Cortez. Okay. Do I hear a motion on this?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay.
Kiefhofer,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. We'll open this meeting up for citizen participation. Are there any citizens that wish to address the council tonight? Seeing none, move on to the public hearings. The first item is a quasi-judicial item, new beer and wine liquor license for Jody Jarling, DBA Zoo Gallery, located at 40 West Main Street, Cortez. City Attorney Mike Green and City Clerk Linda Smith. Good evening.
Good evening, Council. Tonight you'll hear from the applicant. You'll hear from Chief Knuckles, who his office conducted the investigation. The review of the liquor license application indicates it's been filled out properly, it's been signed, all the fees have been paid. It's in a properly zoned, the zoning matches the request that's being made. It's a new business, so they, as far as they've been open, they're current with their sales tax and other fees. So there are no red flags or any reason for staff to say no, don't issue this license. So after the testimony of the applicant, if the applicant wishes to give you information, and Chief Knuckles, and open it up for public hearing, we can vote. You can vote, I'm sorry. Sure.
Mayor Mike, we're going to swear Ms. Jarling in, if that's okay.
Okay.
Jody, if you would please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony that you will give before this council shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? The answer is yes. Okay.
There it goes. Sorry about that. The answer is yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, thank you so much for your consideration this morning. I am Jody Jarling. I am a resident of Cortez, and as you have just heard, I own a business at 48 West Main Street called Zoo Gallery. Zoo Gallery hosts Montezuma County artists in the very front part of an art gallery. We have space available for workshops, pop-up exhibits, and meetings, and we have already hosted several nonprofits, board meetings, baby showers, birthday parties, and we also host the Power Breakfast with the Chamber of Commerce and a monthly free marketing taster with the Cortez Retail Enhancement Association. Zoo Gallery is also the home of the Daily Zoo, where we help small businesses market their events through our social media reach and website for free. Our front window houses a 50-inch television that scrolls community events and local Instagram feed that shares the good news in our community. We also have a photography studio for portraits and marketing needs, and I'm currently helping the Lore Foundation as a photo ambassador to share the feel-good stories of Cortez. Zoo Gallery is where collaboration and community meets art, and I'm proud to live and do business in Cortez.
Police chief?
She has petitions.
Ma'am, before you leave, could I ask you a question or two?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Do you have some petitions that you had signed that you circulated?
Yes, sir.
And did you see everybody sign those petitions?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's their real signatures?
Yes, sir.
Would you like those presented as evidence to council?
Yes, sir, I would love that.
If we could get those over here to Ms. Smith, that would be fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
And we'd ask that those be considered as evidence for granting the license.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Chief Knuckles, on behalf of the investigation that was conducted for the application of the beer and wine liquor license for Jody Jarling and her place of business, the Zoo Gallery, located at 48 West Main Street in Cortez, Colorado. The City of Cortez Planning and Zoning was contacted. We spoke with Neva Conley. The beer and wine license is permitted according to our land use code, section 3.05, subsection A. Public notice was given with the posting of a sign at the business, 48 West Main Street, Cortez, on October 14th. Required notice was given and published in the Journal on October 27th. There is also a business with a similar license right in the vicinity. A poll of the surrounding neighborhoods businesses was conducted, asking if they opposed or agreed with having this type of establishment in that area. The question, do you have an opinion on this liquor license being granted, was asked. There were 50 signatures in favor, 4 signatures opposed, and 7 signatures of no opinion. The location complies with the Colorado Liquor Code rules and regulations. The location does not create any known public safety issues or endanger public health. A copy of this report was delivered to the applicant on October 28th, 2021.
Chief, do you have those petitions with you tonight, the originals?
Yes, I do. I do have the petitions, both in favor of and opposing. I have a photograph of the posting of the notice at the business and the memo that I just referred to.
And the signatures were witnessed and acknowledged by the petition taker?
That's correct, yes.
And we'd ask that these be entered for your consideration and turned over to the clerk. And again, as consideration for granting the license.
Thank you.
Okay. Open this up for public comment? No comment? Any questions or comments from the council? Can I hear a motion on this item? Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
We'll close the public hearing, since no one spoke. Okay, now we'll entertain a motion on this item.
Okay, I'll make a motion that after considering the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood, the desires of the adult inhabitants, the necessity of any restrictions on the license, the good character of the applicants, and compliance with all provisions of the Colorado Revised Statutes 44-3-301, that council approve a new beer and wine liquor license for Jody Jarling, doing business as Zoo Gallery, located at 48 West Main Street, Cortez.
Second.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Jody. Okay, next item under unfinished business is the municipal court judge contract. City Attorney Mike Green. Good evening, Mr. Green.
Good evening. Council, last meeting, you interviewed candidates and you chose Ms. Padilla. Ms. Padilla reviewed the contract. She's, I believe, has signed it already. She found it acceptable. She had her first court date this week. I'm told it was a rousing success. She's moving through to make some updates, make some changes, which are needed and can, you know, be done simply. So I would, as staff, recommend that you approve this contract and authorize the mayor to sign it.
Do we evaluate, you know, or hear from her at, say, at 6 months?
She is one of 3 employees that report directly to council. And so what I believe you had asked at one of the meetings was you wanted a report from the court as to what was going on there, which I took to mean types of cases, money
Yeah,
spent, money
data.
collected, data. And we can get a report from the judge as well. If you want her to come in to speak with you, you can do that. And she can give you an idea of what's going on. She's jumped in with both feet. She's really getting after it. I don't think she'll have a problem with that. So if that's what you want to do, we can let her know.
Thank you.
I think that would be a good idea, just to have her introduce herself to the council after she's had some experience on the court. So, yeah, I'd be
So
willing to
that,
have her speak.
if I'm counting right, that would be sometime in May, sometime in April?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let her know.
Okay, any other questions or comments, council? Do you hear a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve contract presented to Beth Padilla to serve as the municipal judge of the city of Cortez.
Second.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Under new business, the final FAA entitlement fund transfer from Cortez Airport to Steamboat Springs Airport. Airport Manager Jeremy Patton. Good evening, Jeremy.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. So in accordance with the FAA Entitlement Fund Transfer Program, with the 3 other airports that we are in that group with, we used several of the entitlement transfers in 18 and 19 for the taxi lane shoulder and overlay project. As such, we give that entitlement, or those entitlement funds back, and in 2022, we are giving back $150,000 to Steamboat Springs. In 2023, that entitlement will resume at our $150,000. Assuming in the future our emplanements go past 10,000 emplanements for the year, that will jump to 1 million, possibly more with that new infrastructure plan that was just passed. So with that being a federal regulation, we're required to sign the approval that we understand, we acknowledge and understand that this is a transfer payback, and then our entitlements will resume, as I said, in '23. So the fiscal impact is nothing to us. This is an entitlement transfer group. Funds are generated by the FAA. It's nothing out of our enterprise and/or capital funds. So there's no fiscal impact, other than that we don't have those funds available for a project in '22. And that is accounted for in the 5-year FAA and CDOT Aeronautics Capital Improvement Plan. So as such, staff requests that the mayor, as the sponsor certifying official for the airport, sign the agreement as required by the FAA and the cited regulations. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Any questions and comments from the council? Seeing none, could I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to authorize the mayor as airport sponsor certifying official and the city attorney to sign the agreement for transfer of entitlements as required by the FAA and cited regulations.
Second.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the elimination of library late fees. Library Director Isabella Sharpenstein, please. Good evening, Isabella. Take your time.
Good evening, Council, Mayor.
Good evening.
I do have a presentation, but I don't see an HDMI cable over here.
Awkward.
We're just doing this for the suspense, so.
Little technical problems. We're getting it fixed.
Yay. Okay, so I am asking council that the Cortez Public Library can eliminate library fines. And there are several reasons for that. So why do we want to eliminate the late fees? The first one right here is that book return rates actually increase, so people are more likely to return books when they don't have fines, rather than having the stress of having to pay a fine that they may not even be able to afford. And as a result, because they are so stressed about it, they avoid returning the item altogether. And that's not only books, but DVDs, maybe higher priced items like hotspots. Never happened in our library, but it could happen. It will also improve the negative associations with libraries, because we are a place where everybody should feel welcomed. And when fines are associated with not just a library, but any place, that kind of has like a negative connotation to it. And people are like, I don't want to go to a place where I might get charged money. And then us librarians, we have more time for patrons. So collecting the fine is usually combined with a little back and forth, if not full-on screaming match. And it can become really stressful for us because we want people to have access, but we also have to get the fines in order to avoid blocking their accounts at a certain amount. And we don't want to stop our patrons from checking out books or or DVDs, especially DVDs, because we are pretty much the only place in town where they can get DVDs for free or books for free. So, okay, and then we have increased utilization. Obviously, if there are no fines, people come back. Fines can get expensive really fast. We used to, pre-pandemic, we used to charge 25 cents per item per day. And if somebody checks out 20 DVDs and they're, I don't know, a week overdue, that can get expensive really, really fast. And it can be really unpredictable too, because sometimes people just forget, it happens. And especially with families, with little kids, books land under their bed. And then a month later, the parents are like, oh, there's a book. And then they have a huge fine on the kid's card or on the parent's card. So the card would be blocked then, and nobody can check out anything. And then there's the Library Bill of Rights right here, and it states all library policies and procedures, particularly those involving fines, fees, or other user charges, should be scrutinized for potential barriers to access. So access to information is really, really important. People should not have to pay to access any sort of information they may seek. And finally, eliminating the stigma. There's always a stigma involved when there are fines there. So fines penalize people, and especially young kids, and especially low-income households. People feel guilty. I mean, I know I feel guilty whenever I have a late fee somewhere. I'm like, oh no. And they want to use the library, but they have fines. And people should not have to feel scared to come into the library, because sometimes we have a lot of patrons that are like, oh, I don't know, I may have to give you some money. And we're like, oh, no, it will be fine. And then the American Library Association, they actually wrote a resolution on monetary library fines as a form of social inequity. That was in 2019. And they came to the conclusion that, for one, they present an economic barrier to access library materials and services, since we don't only provide books, but all sorts of services. There's research that eliminating fines actually increases library card adoption and usage, so more people come back to the library. And finally, there are policies. So the American Library Association Policy B810, Library Services to the Poor, is promoting the removal of barriers to library and information services, particularly fees and overdue charges. So that would directly relate to us. And the policy B42, Free Access to Information, asserts that the charging of fees and levies for information services, including those services utilizing the latest information technology, is discriminatory in publicly supported institutions, which we are, providing library and information services. So the ALA conducted that resolution. They conducted a lot of research. Most recently, the New York Public Library system, they got rid of their fines. And if a big library system like theirs can get fines, why not us? And to support this, I looked at our numbers. So the fines that we collected in 2017, the revenue that we got from fines was $43.10. In 2018, it was $42.65, sorry. And in 2019, it was $14.25. So a lot of people like to argue, oh, fines are linked to revenue, but as you can see, it really is not. So that would be another pro to get rid of fines. And we actually did some sort of test run during the pandemic. So we temporarily eliminated late fees due to the fact that we had to quarantine items when they came back. In the beginning, we quarantined them for 3 days, and as a result, some items would have been late and people would have gotten fines, and thus we were just like, no, let's just eliminate late fees for the time being of the pandemic. And then, as far as returns go, that items have been returned consistently and relatively on time. So there was not a big thing where people would return it 5 months later, and we're like, oh, okay, that came back. And finally, the amount of items that has been marked lost in our catalog has actually decreased, so that shows that people are bringing the items back. And that was my presentation, and thank you for considering this. Any questions?
My only question is how do you manage if you have a library patron who consistently doesn't return items? I guess, I mean, obviously the finding isn't working, but how do you manage that if someone is taking out books and just never returning anything?
So we have a system in place where after, I believe it was 45 days, the item would get marked as lost. And we would still charge for replacement, damaged items, all of that. And our system is designed that at a certain amount, it's $5, the card gets blocked. So if they do want to come back and check out more things, they can't. And we also have that nifty system where we can put in notes and a warning that would pop up when somebody checks something out and it's like, this patron has consistently not brought things back. That will let us know that we're like, oh, well.
Any other questions? I had a question, Isabella. Do you have a way of alerting patrons that check out a book and it's overdue? Can you contact them to remind them to bring it back?
We can. That's what we usually did in the past with overdue notices. Those were obviously fallback, but especially if there's a hold on an item for somebody else, we would call them, and we also have automatic renewal set up. But if there is a hold on it, it doesn't renew automatically. So that gives us a notice, okay, this item has to come back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Can I have a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to allow the Cortez Public Library to eliminate late fees to increase the library's accessibility to information.
Second.
Rainey.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer. Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Isabella, for your presentation. Free libraries. Next item on the agenda is a budget request for map frame. City Planner Tracy Hughes again. Good evening, Tracy.
Good evening. So the city has a really old map that dates back to 1909, and it's kind of been floating around the city for a while. It's a map of the city limits that, you know, at the time of the map's creation, which was 1909. So it's not like a plat or an official document, but my understanding is it used to be in City Hall on display, and they would write the landowners' names on it. So it's kind of a neat document. It's about 5 feet by 4 feet, and because it's over 100 years old, I took it to Fort Lewis College, and they've archived it by taking photographs of the map. And I've talked to them about how we could properly take care of it, and the best thing to do is to put it in a frame so it's flat and protected from UV light. So this frame would need to have UV light filtered glass. It's best that it's not stored in direct sunlight, and essentially all these things cost some money, and so the city staff would like to have it framed. We've got a quote, as you have in front of you, for $2,200 for the frame. So staff is recommending city council amend the budget, not wait, not the budget, authorize the purchase of the map framing for the amount of $2,200.
Comments from the council? Can I hear a motion on this
I was
item?
going to say, we have the money, right? for-
Yeah, thank you, council member. Yeah, Mayor and council, this is actually in the budget, it just comes out of the city council's lines, which is why we're coming to you specifically for this.
Where would it live?
I think
We're actually
there's,
thinking right there.
yeah.
We could always house it in the new historical museum downtown, so everybody could see it if we don't use it on a regular basis.
I think that would be open for discussion.
I think that would require a separate motion by council.
I was just going to ask, is this expense going to be a 2021 or a 2022?
2021.
21, okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the expense of $2,200 to frame the city plat.
Second.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you, Tracy. Next item on the agenda is the 2022 joint chemical bid. Director of General Services, Rick Smith. Good evening, Rick.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. For probably the last 20-plus years, the city has put out a coordinated joint chemical bid for water and sewer plants in the area. This year, the participants were the town of Dolores, Montezuma Water Company, and the city of Cortez. By combining the chemicals used in the water plants, we get aggregation of deliveries and quantity, so we get a little better pricing. Each entity awards the contract to the vendors on their own. So in other words, the city is only, tonight's action is only taking care of the city's water plant in this bid. The bids were opened on November 12th with 11 responses. And as you'll note, the award is based on the individual item. So as you can see, the city of Cortez water plant chemicals be $249,440.10. It's a lot of chemicals. The total bid for the whole project for everybody, including the city, was $351,000.
How often do we do a joint bid like this, Rick?
Every year. This is the
Every
yearly-
year, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
We've done it for like 20-plus years. We've kind of aggregated it.
Any questions or comments from the council? Can I have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 joint chemical bid to the individually highlighted vendors. Total City of Cortez award is $249,440.10.
Second.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, moving on. The next item on the agenda is cancel December 28th, 2021, council meeting. City Clerk Linda Smith. Good evening, Linda.
Good evening, council and mayor. The city has canceled that second meeting in December for many, many years, and due to the holidays, it falls sometimes closer to Christmas, sometimes after. But staff would like to recommend that we cancel the meeting that would be held on December 28th, 2021, due to the holidays.
Are there any objections? Any comments?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the cancellation of the December 28th, 2021 council meeting due to the holidays.
Second.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Lady.
Aye.
Thank you.
Leave us. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 33, Series 2021, City Manager Drew Sanders. Good evening, Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, 2 weeks ago, the council authorized, or has a budget of $36,000. They authorized grants in the amount of $35,100 to various organizations. This resolution is in place to solidify that and make that an official award. So we'd like to suggest to council a motion that you allow the mayor to sign the resolution number 23, Series 2021, and direct staff to draw the warrants for the various amounts and get those to the recipients.
Thank you, Drew. Any questions or comments? Can I have a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council approve resolution number 33, Series 2021, approving the 2022 community support grants at a total of $35,100.
Second.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer, Lucero,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. There's no city attorney's reports, city manager's reports.
Yes, Mayor and Council, good evening. Here's the top 3 topics for the previous 2 weeks that we're working on. The golf course is now closed for the season. Staff members are now working on various equipment repairs and maintenance, as well as catching up on multiple projects that have been put aside for the season. One of the projects this winter is to replace the weather-worn benches at the tee boxes, so that'll be nice for golfers next year. Number 2, Public Works staff are preparing to decorate the downtown area with decorations for the Christmas season. Events coordinator John Brooks and other key staff members are gearing up for the Parade of Lights scheduled for December 4th. This is expected to be a very well-attended event, and the entire community can look forward to it. We've got several staff members working on this, and I think this will be one to remember. So we encourage everybody to join. Number 3, we've set aside December 9th and 10th as the dates when we'll interview the candidates presented to us from our recruiting firm for the open Public Works and Parks and Recreation Directors positions. We're in the process of building the various interview panels and look forward to meeting the candidates. Once interviewed and if selections are made, my goal is to get them started as close as possible to the first of the year. We expect to hear from the recruiter by Monday, I believe it is, when we'll have the candidates announced to us, and we'll have the books to us on who those candidates are. Then, if you'll indulge me, Mayor, I'd like to do an employee highlight this evening. Tonight I'd like to talk about Efren Vaquera, who's an employee out of the airport. Efren is a diligent employee with remarkable moral and ethical values that contribute to a safe, efficient, and meaningful operations at the airport. While he's been part of the airport for nearly 9 years, his sense of pride and ownership for, quote, his airfield, unquote, continues to grow rather than diminish. He understands that there's no room for complacency, and when given responsibilities, he takes it seriously. He has shown excitement and appreciation for the new office quarters and assignments, as well as the direction the airport is going in. He's an integral part of the future growth and development of the airport. While there are many areas of improvement and increased operational and regulatory obligations, he is willing and ready to take on these challenges and opportunities. His diligence is also evident in his personal life as he balances taking care of his family, elderly parents, and a second job. He definitely stands out as one of our best city employees. So thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. We join you in celebrating Efren's achievements for the city. Thank you, Drew. Okay, are there any city council reports? Rachel?
I attended the Mesa Verde Country meeting last week, and just a few updates. Visitation to the visitor center was tripled versus the numbers in 2019. So visitation has increased in our community, which means, you know, higher sales tax collected, as we've seen, and lodging tax is also on the rise. Visitation to Mesa Verde National Park, though, is actually down this year compared to 19 numbers, but that's probably because of the construction and lack of access to Cliff Palace and Balcony House. But people are coming here and they're doing, you know, all kinds of other things besides Mesa Verde, so that's good.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I attended the Public Historic Preservation meeting about the, basically about the grant cycle that we've just gone through. It was a presentation on it was a presentation on potential historic sites throughout the city outside of kind of the original town site. And one of the kind of main things is that we have some like 1950s American highway assets in the community, and that is probably what the next grant that the Historic Preservation Board is going to go for, is to survey those.
Thank you, Robert. Any other committee reports?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to report on the public arts program. We now have 3 new art galleries in town. Jody is here tonight. We have the Zoo Gallery and the Turquoise Raven, and the Cortez Cultural Center has a beautiful new gallery. So I feel like this is a quantum leap for the city.
Thank you, David. Any other committee reports? I'll read the mayor's report on the workshop. The meeting was called to order at 6:15 p.m. We had a presentation on a request for proposals for the City of Cortez VoIP phone system and services. We had a discussion on the accessory dwelling units, ADUs, by City Planner Tracy Hughes. We had discussion on changing the city logo. Then we also had a general council discussion. That pretty much covers what we did on the workshop. Under other items of business, the council will adjourn now to executive session for the discussion of a personnel matter under CRS section 24-6-4024Fi, and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body or elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or an elected official, or personnel policies that do not require discussion of matters personal to particular employees. The city manager's 6-month evaluation and an employee compensation issue will be discussed. So
We have a
we'll
motion.
adjourn this meeting now.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session for the discussion of a personnel matter under CRS section 24-6-4024Fi. The city manager's 6-month evaluation and an employee compensation issue will be discussed.
Second.
Rainey. Lucero.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Medina. Aye. Dobry.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We'll adjourn this meeting and we'll return to the regular session. 9:29 PM, and the executive session has concluded. The participants in the executive session were okay. Here we go. Okay, myself, Rachel Medina, David Rainey, Orly Lucero, Arlena Yazzie, Matt Kiefhofer, Robert Dobry, Drew Sanders, and the city attorney, Mike Green, entered the conversation later on. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of this matter not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state the concern for the record. Seeing none, next item on the agenda is, we discussed the city manager's 6-month evaluation, and employee compensation issue was discussed. Okay, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Senor.
Yeah, thank you.